All right, so a very good evening to everyone. And we have our participant today who is a volunteer, and he is from Malaysia, right? And
Hi,
he's going to volunteer for today's REBT demonstration session. So how do I pronounce your name?
I'm good with yo. Just yo, like the yo-yo.
Okay, so
Yo.
I'll call
Yeah.
you Yo. And
Yes.
Yo, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity to demonstrate an REBT session. And I would like to take your consent that would you be okay with the session being telecast on YouTube?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
And it will also stay there forever. And your name would display on the video as well. All right, so Yo, my name is Dr. Shishir Palsapure, and I am a psychotherapist. I am CBT, REBT trainer and supervisor, and I would be your therapist today. So, Yo, what problem would you like to work on in today's session?
I would like to work on my procrastination
Okay, one more
issues.
time.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
I didn't really get what's happening yesterday. Internet wasn't really good. Yeah.
No problem. Okay, because we had procrastination yesterday as well. So apparently procrastination is a extremely common problem. And why would you like to work on procrastination?
I think it has been giving me a lot of stress and anxiety. I procrastinate a lot as I am a student currently doing clinical psychology, and then there's a lot of assignments and stuff. But I would usually put those assignments until the last minute, and then the stress and anxiety just piles up, and then the stress and anxiety will move me to complete all my assignments.
Okay, so it motivates you to complete all the assignments, right?
Yeah, but it's
And
scary. It's extremely scary. Like a day or two right before the submission date,
uh-huh,
then I will start doing, and then they are not easy.
I totally
Yeah.
understand. So what usually happens is that you delay the assignment till the last moment, and then you
Mhm.
do get motivated to do it, but at the same time, it's very scary for you, right?
Yes,
In
yes.
what other way is this a problem for you? The procrastination is a problem because number one, it scares you. Anything else?
Uh, and what happens is because I like to push all of these assignments to the end to do it, then it kind of like messed up my schedule
Right.
at the end. So like I couldn't really do anything else but my assignments because it's at that time frame. But I do everything else before, like watching YouTube, watching Netflix on Facebook, and stuff like that.
Okay. So do you also mean to say that, because you pushed it to the last moment, you don't have time left for anything else? For instance, on those days,
Yes,
you're not
yeah.
able to relax, you're not able to eat food, and so on. Is that correct?
Food I would be able to eat. It's just that assignment will be all I will be thinking about.
Okay.
Even eating food, I'm not mindful. I'm thinking about what to write in the next sentence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So does your performance also get affected by this? Because you push it to the last moment and then there's little time left. Does your performance get affected?
I think it depends.
Mhm.
It depends. And I have been, used to this kind of pattern. So I wouldn't know like what will happen if I put my whole heart into it since the beginning of the semester or something like that. Yeah. So I guess somehow affected, but I'm not sure how much. Yeah.
Okay. You're not really sure how much is it affected because
Mm-mm.
you've already pushed the assignments. You don't know how better you can perform, right?
Yeah, I mean, the results wasn't bad. It's just that I don't like that feeling.
Okay. I
I
get
would
it.
like
Right.
to.
And how motivated are you to work on this problem?
How motivated am I? I would say in the every beginning of the sem, I'll be very motivated to try to, get over this problem myself. But as it gets to the middle of the semester, it will be hard for me to like not to for me to keep my focus on my work, and then I'll be distracted and all, until the end of the semester. Then it's not the end, but by the time the due date is almost up, then I would need to go through all this stress and anxiety again, and then it kind of like motivates me to do it. and then I did it, and then the
No, no,
result
no. My
wasn't really
question
that
is
bad.
how motivated are you to break this habit? Your motivation also keeps going up and down depending on the deadline, right? So if there is a deadline, your motivation to work on the problem also goes up. Is that correct?
Yes. That's what I'm
Apparently, there
getting.
are some exams coming up now, and then you're motivated to work on the problem.
Yeah, when the exam is around the corner, I could swallow textbooks and all. But if it's not around the corner,
I
if it's
understand.
like very far away, then maybe a little bit of Netflix or YouTube wouldn't kill me. Yeah,
All right.
that's what's
Okay.
happening. Yeah.
Fine. So we call this as roller coaster procrastination, where your productivity goes up and down as the deadlines come closer. Your productivity, or I would say, your activity, not necessarily productivity, but your activity, your arousal goes up. And when the deadline is far, you're not so fired up. Although it does motivate a lot to do things in the last moment or at the 11th hour, but the performance is affected because the total time you have assigned to the task goes down. I would ask you, do you have a pen and paper?
I have an iPad beside me. Is that
Okay,
yeah,
so
just record it. Yeah.
can you draw something? Do you have a pencil as well?
Oh yeah. The pencil. Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to draw a cat in just 5 seconds. Your time starts now.
A cat? A
Yeah.
cat?
Yeah, in 5 seconds.
Hold on, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Stop. Okay, can you show everyone the cat?
Can
Oh
you
my
see?
God, that's a lovely cat. Okay, now you have 30 seconds to draw the cat. All right, your time starts now.
30 seconds. Okay.
All right, stop. What does it look like now? Different cat.
It's an entirely different cat. It's no longer a scribble.
This is a better cat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference between 5 seconds cat? It was recognizable, anyone could say that this is a cat. And the other one also is 30-second cat is also recognizable. What's the difference?
The difference is in the detail of the
Detail.
cat.
Exactly,
Yes.
bang on. So, you could add more detailing as you got more time for it. So, you would never know that you could have added more detail to your submissions because you've never done it that way, right? You always had very little time. So though you did finish the assignments so far, but you never realized that I could have added more detailing to it. And maybe my productivity would have been better, right? Or the output quality would have been better. But you got away every single time with a low quality output because you cleared your exams and nobody probably objected. And apparently, because you are a good artist and intelligent as well, I think you compensated the rest of it by intelligence, right? And
sort of.
yes, if you had put in more time into the same assignment, you would be able to add more detailing to it. Now, this is just one aspect. Plus, when your anxiety goes up, your memory goes down. So you would probably not be able to remember as much. And then your clarity of your thoughts go down. And then it is a lot of distress as well. And these are the reasons why it is important to work on the problem that your productivity would rather be, slightly up and down, maybe throughout the year, but not a roller coaster, which is really going up and down. Okay. So would you like to work on this problem then?
Yes.
Excellent. To understand how you procrastinate, would you like to tell me one specific and a repetitive incident where your productivity went up with or I would say your arousal went up with the deadlines, and then you slowed down when the deadlines were not there?
This happens all the time. So my assignments, I'll go back to my assignments because this mainly is observable with assignments because they have very clear-cut deadlines. And like as I've said, once the assignment was assigned to me, I would be, oh, very interested. I would like to read all about it. I am very motivated. I've started it. I've created the file. I've written my name, maybe write 1 or 2 sentences. And then, I look at my phone, I look at, I'm working it on a laptop. So maybe I'll go on YouTube or something like that. And then somehow, slowly, I would slip away from the assignment. And then that will last throughout, as in like that will last for a while until I look at the deadline again. Yeah. Whenever I look at my calendar for the deadline, then my anxiety rises up. Then I would sit in front of the computer, in front of my laptop and force myself maybe to type 1 or 2 sentences. And then, the same thing happened again. I go on YouTube, I go on Netflix.
Okay.
And
So,
then, yeah.
so you described a typical incident. Now, let us understand the whole cycle, right? Would you like to divide this information into what exactly happens during procrastination? So let's rewind the whole tape and then go back to the choice point where you could have procrastinated and you could have done or continued to do the assignment. Apparently, your problem is of persistence. Like you do start, but you do not persist on it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. And then you get distracted by either YouTube or something else. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So let's focus on one specific incident. For instance, the last month, or something like this. Could you focus on one specific incident?
Okay, I'll talk about a project I am working currently. I was given a deadline on that I was supposed to submit an introduction of a paper before Wednesday. And then my supervisor actually assigned me this introduction on Monday. So on Monday, I was thinking that maybe I wouldn't have much time and it's a group project. So I kind of talked with my partner, my group mate, and then how do we assign this? How do we write this? Yeah. And then after assigning, I was, pumped up and all because it's Wednesday. I have to hand it in to my supervisor for the first check. And then somehow when I was, downloading all the literatures, all the research, and then I've only downloaded it, I did not read it. Yeah, then I went, when I was on the internet, then I went browsing for something else, something totally unrelated.
Pause. Now, this is the moment when you slipped, right? So when you browsed and you slipped to something else.
Yes.
Now, this is the moment, go back to this moment where you slipped and you changed the path. What came to your mind first?
What came to my mind first? I think what came to my mind was, I think what came to my mind was, I should do this, but maybe I will still have time.
No,
yeah.
This is something that happened later. Even before this, you probably had an urge to procrastinate.
Yeah, I mean an urge to procrastinate.
Correct?
So during my research?
Yeah, you downloaded all the stuff and then you had an inner urge to delay reading it, delay working on it.
Yeah.
Is it correct? So could you write down the steps in procrastination? Is number one step is, or the one stage, I would say. The first thing that happens is an urge to procrastinate, which is immediately followed by a decision to procrastinate.
Okay, so first is urge to procrastinate and then decision.
Decision to procrastinate. And the third one comes that I can do it tomorrow, which is a reasoning or a justification to procrastinate. Is it correct?
Yes.
And then comes what happened after that? The moment you had a justification that I can always do it tomorrow, what happened?
Then I forget about my work and I do whatever that is easy for me.
All right. Okay. So the
Yeah.
fourth step is actual procrastination.
Yeah.
But you actually delay doing whatever it is. So giving up the task in hand, or either not starting it or delaying it.
Yeah.
So actual procrastination. And the fifth step is a substitute activity. A substitute activity could be inactivity. For instance, you just don't do anything. You're just sitting and doing nothing, staring at the wall, staring at the ceiling, or just chilling, right? Not doing nothing. A substitute activity could be something that is more pleasurable. For instance, watching YouTube or Netflix, right? Or eating. Now that's something more pleasurable. A substitute activity could be something that's less distressing. For instance, you choose a task that does not have so much of anxiety or so much of effort to be put in, right? A substitute activity could also be what we call as pseudo work. For instance, only downloading or checking emails. Pseudo work looks like the original work. The only purpose of pseudo work is to, relieve you of the anxiety, of the guilt that I'm not doing anything, but then you convince yourself, no, I'm doing something. I did something. So your actual work would be probably reading a downloaded newspaper and then a downloaded research paper. But what you do is switch it with a pseudo work, which is continuing to download more and more and more, right? So out of these 4 to 5 substitute activities, what did you exactly do in that situation?
I've downloaded stuff.
Okay, you downloaded
like
more stuff.
the research paper, and then I did more pleasurable stuff as well after downloading it.
All right.
And then what else did I do? Yeah, I guess it's this too.
Okay. All right.
So
So
easier.
where is it easiest to change the path? For instance, at step 5, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, where is it easiest?
The decision part?
Exactly, because you cannot stop the urge from coming to your head. You will continue to have the urge. For instance, if I give you, something like a bubble wrap, can you get me the bubble wrap for that? So if I get you bubble wrap, say for instance, and I give it to you, and then you will probably have the urge to pop the bubble wrap,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Okay. So can you control the urge?
It comes in. It's automatic, I guess. I mean,
Can you
like
stop the urge?
the urge comes into my head, but I guess what you're meaning, whether do I need to act on it?
Urge cannot
maybe
be
not.
controlled,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
your action on it, you can decide to act on it, or you can decide to not act on it. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So therefore, the step number 1, the urge cannot be controlled. However, you can decide to act on the urge. You can also decide to not act on the urge. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And therefore, the decision to act on the urge is so apparently automatic, but it is not automatic. It's a conscious decision that we do. And the moment we understand this, that there is a small gap between the urge and the decision, we'll be able to intervene here.
Yeah.
And if you change the decision can be changed at any step. For instance, if you have decided to procrastinate, 5 minutes later, you can again decide to come back and, do the work that you are supposed to. But the only problem is, by the time it's 5 minutes, we are already doing a pleasurable activity and then or a substitute activity. So it's difficult for us to go back because we are already enjoying it. The brain is getting the dopamine from these activities already, and it's slightly more difficult than if you nip it at the bud, which is at the decision point. Does this make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
All right. So if you attended yesterday's lecture, yesterday's session, then you might have understood that there are certain conditions that we put on ourselves or the task, that these conditions must be met or else I will not do it. In your case, it was not about the initiation of the task, but for the continuation of the task. Right.
Yes.
So let's go back to the decision moment. When you made the decision to stop doing the task,
Mm-hmm.
what went through your mind?
What went through my mind? When I make the decision to stop doing the task, I guess nothing. It just,
Yeah,
it
think
just
about it.
slipped.
Like
Yeah.
what was about the task that made you stop it, or that contributed to your decision to stop it?
Mm, it's boring.
Boring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want you to make 3 columns, A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm. Okay, done.
The A is the boredom. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If you had pushed yourself to continue doing the task, you would feel how?
Bored.
Bored.
Yeah.
And if you continue to do a boring task, then how would you feel emotionally? I'm doing a boring task, and then I feel how?
My feeling is boredom, not a feeling. Hold on, yeah.
Boredom is a state again,
Mm-hmm.
but some people are bored and they are not allowed to do anything else. Let's say that it's a 12-year-old and the child is bored and not allowed to go out of the house.
Frustrated. Okay.
They would feel
Yeah, yeah.
frustrated,
Yes.
and some children may cry, some children may get angry
Yeah.
because they have been stopped from getting over their boredom. So boredom is a trigger, but the emotional reaction to your boredom
It's frustration.
continuing. Again, frustration is, we call it as a trigger. The frustration also falls in the A, right? And see here, the boredom is the initial trigger. But if you push yourself to continue do a task that's boring, you will be frustrated. And what would be your usual emotional reaction to frustration? That you are pushing yourself to do tasks that are boring and stopping yourself from enjoying on YouTube or Netflix.
I guess that's the opposite of happy. So like probably sad, probably angry.
Angry, sad, right? So what's your usual reaction? If imagine yourself that not only you are continuing to do a boring task, but you're also stopping from enjoying.
I guess I get angry. Yeah.
Angry, right? Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Now you're in touch with your emotions. Like, could you write this down? Where would you write down? A, B, or C?
C.
Excellent. That's the C. That's your C. The emotional reaction is anger. And we have 2 types of anger, healthy and unhealthy. Which anger would you have experienced if you continued to do the boring task?
Could you tell me more about what's healthy anger and what's not healthy?
Good opportunity. So unhealthy anger generally is out of proportion. Unhealthy anger is very distressing. Unhealthy anger is aimed at either punishing the person, intimidating the person, or it is aimed at teaching them a lesson, right? It is associated with either aggression or submission or passive aggression, right? Unhealthy anger is very distressing, more distressing than healthy anger. The major component of unhealthy anger, it is impulsive. It is not well thought of, right? Unhealthy anger is also unhelpful in the longer run. So it leads us to do things that don't help us in the longer run. However, healthy anger is more proportionate. It is corrective and educative to the other person, and it is expressed at the same person rather than a third party. Healthy anger is not very distressing, and healthy anger leads us to do things that are generally helpful in the longer run. And the important part about healthy anger is it is well thought of. It is not something that's impulsive, but it could be not only pro-self, but also pro-social.
So I guess it's unhealthy in a way because it is not leading me to a productive thing, or
Right.
it is not, it doesn't really help me.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if you did not kind of, get very activated and probably didn't yell out at someone, the arousal levels were also very low because, that never happened. You quickly switched the activity. But
Yeah.
even if you did not switch the activity, I am sure that you wouldn't be very, very angry and, throwing things around. But the only component of the unhealthy anger would be, it would lead you to things that are not helpful, or to actions that are not helpful in the longer run. And another thing is like impulsive, like it comes to your head and you quickly decide to do something that is not helpful in the longer run. Though it doesn't look like anger here, but it is unhealthy anger, because that's what is pushing you to stop doing the activity that you would rather have continued to do. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to the choice point again. And if you had pushed yourself to do the boring activity and stop yourself from entertaining yourself, what thoughts would come to your mind?
What thoughts would have come to my mind? This is really boring.
And
I wish to do something else.
And I am still stopping myself from doing something else. And that means?
That means I could finish this before time, maybe.
Now, what uncomfortable thoughts would come to your head?
Uncomfortable.
That would make you angry.
I think what comes in to make me angry is, why am I doing this?
Okay, so could you write this down in the B section? Now, I want you to convert this into a question, into a statement, because it's a question. Why am I doing this? Convert it into a statement.
Okay.
Yes. I am doing this. This is a statement.
I am doing this. Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing this, right? Now, this means I am doing
this boring thing.
Okay, I'm doing this boring thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what does that mean? If you're doing the boring thing, that means?
That means I'm not having fun.
Okay, so a small downward arrow, and that means I'm not having fun. I'm not having fun. See, on one hand, you're doing a boring thing, and on the other hand, you're not doing the fun part, right? You're not having fun. What does this mean?
It means that I'm not happy right now. Yeah.
Okay, right. So I'm not happy. Write this down, downward arrow. I'm not happy.
I'm not happy. Okay.
Okay, and what does that mean to you? If you're not happy, then
my emotion would show, like I would actually show my anger and all.
What were you demanding at that choice point that made you skip doing it and then go back to the YouTube?
Pardon? What am I?
What were you demanding at that time about happiness? What were you demanding?
What was I demanding? I don't quite get the question.
Were you thinking at that point in time that I really wish to be happy, but I don't have to be, because the task is supposed to be productive, not something that's going to make me happy?
Oh, yeah.
Or were you thinking that I should be happy?
I was thinking about the task is not fun. This task is not fun, and
And it should be.
I guess it should be for me. Yes.
Yes, the task should be fun.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so I want you to write this down. The task should be fun. I have another hypothesis here. I just want to check it if that is true. So one thing you have written is that the task should be fun. Now, see, when you do something like, not watching YouTube, say for instance, and continue to do the boring task, you're also depriving yourself of the fun.
Fun of
Watching YouTube.
yeah.
So what's that thought coming to your head that I'm depriving myself of the fun? I have it in my control to have fun, but I'm depriving myself if I continue to do this boring task.
Yes.
And what do you think about deprivation?
Deprivation of fun because of the continuation of my task, which is boring. What does it mean to me?
If you deprive yourself, it means?
It means that I'm going to be a boring person.
You're going to be a poor person.
I wouldn't want that. Like,
I didn't get that. So if you deprive yourself of the fun, you would think what?
I would think that life is boring. Life is not fun. Life is, like, why did I choose this? Why did I do this to myself?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So there are two types of thoughts that are coming here. Life is not fun, right? And why did I do this? So I would want you to write this down. Life is not fun. My whole life is not fun. Is this what you meant to say? Life is not fun. Okay. And why did I do this to myself? Which means I have been what to myself?
Why did I agree to do another master's? Yeah.
Okay. So my decision is wrong, right?
Yeah, only at that moment. I guess
at that moment, you would think that my decision is wrong if I'm not having fun, right?
Yeah.
And let's assume that your decision is wrong then.
That means I have wasted my time on this.
I've wasted my time on this. My entire efforts, all my efforts are a waste. Is that correct? What does that mean about you if you're wasted a lot of time, your life is a waste, your time is waste, and your efforts are wasted? Does it mean anything about you?
What does it mean about me?
Yeah.
If my time is wasted, just that I feel like life doesn't really have a lot of time. Maybe it could be spent in a more meaningful way.
So your life is a waste.
Yeah, that's a depressive way to say it.
Yes, but that's what probably is implied here, that if I have boring moments in my life, then my life is a waste. Is that correct?
That's a bit extreme, but I guess, yeah.
Okay, write this down. My life is a waste. So it's not just life is a waste. It's a series of things. For instance, I made wrong decisions. My efforts have gone waste because I'm not having fun. And that means my life has no meaning, or it's worthless, or it's probably waste. What thought is the most important task, thought in choosing fun over a boring task?
Like all of the others among
Exactly.
these
Yes.
thoughts.
Out of all these thoughts.
Which one is more important for me to change?
Correct.
Yeah, my life is a waste, definitely.
My life is a waste if I have boring moments, right?
Yeah, that sounds super extreme, like a bit depressive. Yeah.
So do you see the connection between this thought that my life is waste if I have to choose a boring task and not have fun? If my life doesn't have fun, then it's waste. Do you see this thought has something to do with your choice of action at the choice point?
Yeah, because I was looking at the arrows and the thoughts that goes down. Yes.
To be very honest, I didn't even suspect that this would be the thought that would come up. But apparently it looks like that, um, if you're not having fun, then your life is waste. This is what you conclude from it. Do you also see yourself concluding similar things about your life in other contexts, that if you're not able to enjoy, then your life is waste? If your decisions are wrong, if you're not having fun, if your efforts go waste, then you think in a similar lines?
When I'm thinking about this, I think of right now where we are all in lockdown, we are not supposed to go out. And whenever I see a picture of someone else like posting about food, about fun, about parties, about things like that, yeah, this will come out again. Oh my God, I'm wasting my time over here, sitting at home, not going out. Yeah.
And my life is a waste.
Yes, yes.
Right. So I see that there is a pattern, right? In many of the things where you feel depressed, it immediately comes to your whole life, that your whole life is waste if you're not having fun specifically, right? Do you also see a trap that you're laying for yourself, that you're programming yourself for continuous fun, right? And what are the dangers of this? If you have a broad conclusion that your entire life is waste if you don't have fun, what kind of dangers are you getting into?
Maybe I have too much fun and in the end I achieve nothing, maybe.
Okay, it can affect your academic performance, right?
Yes.
And it can also lead you to some kind of risky behaviors to have fun. Is it correct?
Roller coaster and all.
There's something called as...
Yeah, it's fun and all.
Yeah.
I wanted to try bungee jump, but my parents still haven't allowed it. Yeah.
Right. So my point is, you may get into risky behaviors to have fun, right? And there's something called as responsible hedonism. See, all human beings are hedonistic, which means that they want to have fun and avoid pain. So are you studying psychology by any chance?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So we that we are programmed to avoid pain, distress, and we are programmed to have fun. But there's something called as responsible hedonism, where you do enjoy life at the same time, do not compromise or do not pay the price of your long-term goals. So if your hedonism does not harm other people, if your hedonism does not harm your long-term interest, if it does not harm your body, if it does not harm your mental health, finances, academic performance, hedonism would be what we call as responsible hedonism, like you enjoy with responsibility, but at the same time it is affecting your performance, then you need to look into it, that this is not responsible hedonism. However, I want to have fun. I do deserve fun. There's nothing wrong in having fun, but it could be what we call as dysfunctional. It could be unhelpful for you to engage in irresponsible hedonism, right? So at the choice point, you ask yourself, is my hedonism, is my fun going to help me in the longer run or no?
I guess for now, the way that I approach my academic stuff, it is not really helpful. It's causing me a lot of distress because I want to have fun. After that, I'll have moment of distress because I wasn't, I need to push myself because of that distress. Yeah.
So I have a very simple, ridiculously simple technique to, it's technically very simple. So you at the choice point where you have the urge to postponing the task, you tell yourself that I'm going to reward myself with the YouTube that I was anyway going to watch now, once I finish this task. Right. So not only you're having the fun of YouTube, but you're also positively reinforcing your own delayed gratification, which is like, doing the task is rewarded. So doing the boring task would be more likely to be done next time because you have already rewarded it, right? But if you do what we call as negative reinforcement, like you you escape the distress of the boring task by avoiding it, you're going to make it more and more likely that you will avoid it. So here you're not just putting up with the distress and breaking the cycle of negative reinforcement, but also you're rewarding it with a positive experience immediately after, right? So looks very easy in discussion, but it may be slightly difficult. So I'm going to give you a slight tip for this, that next time you have an urge to postpone, just watch that, what is your give up point. Now, this may be your threshold, that if it goes to this distress, then I'm going to give up, right? And if it goes this one, then you definitely give up. So we want to increase your give up point, or a threshold at which you give up, by repetitively delaying to give up. So initially you may delay by 5 seconds. Now you will have to put in a conscious effort into this. So you feel like giving up right now. So don't give up for 5 more seconds. Then give up after 10 seconds. And the next time you give up after 30 seconds. So slowly you would be increasing your, what we call as distress tolerance or frustration tolerance. Distress tolerance of doing the boring task, and frustration tolerance of depriving yourself of YouTube. So you're depriving yourself of your goal. So now your distress tolerance, frustration tolerance will go up and up and up and up and up, so that, it reaches here. And then, you are able to comfortably finish the assignments in this zone. Not necessarily comfortably, but, more comfortably than you're doing now.
So the idea is
to
when the trigger of boredom is there, when I realize that, oh, I'm thinking that this task is very boring, I'm just going to tell myself, okay, let's last 5 more seconds. Then, okay, maybe I take 5 more seconds. Then maybe the next time when I'm experiencing it again, I give myself, oh, maybe I should last 10 more seconds. Then slowly increase the threshold.
Exactly. You could even make a physical slider. For instance, you make a physical slider of a wooden scale, and then you have a slider, and then this slider goes up and down, right? Okay. And then you estimate beforehand that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The task that I am taking up is probably going to be 10 on a 0 to 10 scale. It's going to be 5 distressing, right? And where is my current threshold? Where is my current cutoff? You will see that if it is below 5, then you're going to give up, right? So you slide the threshold to your current threshold, which would be 3, right?
So around.
Yes, and you have to slide it beyond it. Like, I'm going to have my threshold reset till 5.5 today. I'm not going to give up till 5.5. Okay. So, you are deliberately pushing your threshold. And this experiment, I'm not going to tell you what will happen in this experiment. You will realize certain things when you predict the distress of a boring task. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to do this experiment and find out, what did you learn from this? You could also draw it on your iPad, that, this is the projected distress that I'm going to have. This is my current threshold of cutoff. And then I'm going to push my threshold a little bit just beyond it for 5 more seconds.
Okay, I drew it, a scale. Yeah.
And I want you to find out that to what extent were your predictions accurate about how distressing the task is going to be.
So before the task, I estimate first, and then after the task, after I think about, maybe I should delay my fun for 5 more seconds or 10 more seconds, and then I come back and look at the scale to think whether is this accurate.
Yes,
right?
How accurate it is, right?
Okay.
Was my estimation accurate? Like, I would want you to average out 10 such experiments, because sometimes it's more boring than you think. Sometimes it's less boring than you think. So how distressing was it, right? So do not draw broad conclusions based on one experiment, but like maybe average out 10.
Yeah.
So there are two things that you're going to do. Not only push yourself for 5 seconds more, and then maybe also, every time you push it for longer and longer and longer and longer, right? So use your creativity. It's just pushing your distress tolerance or cut off a little up and up and up and up. And then there would be a lot of learning in this very small experiment. So I don't care whether you finish the task or no, right? The success of the experiment wouldn't be counted on that. The experiment is to help you get in touch with your thoughts at the give up point. And then if you're able to push it for even 5 more seconds or even 1 more second, the success of the experiment, the experiment is successful, right? And, how much do you want to put this effort into delaying is something, it's up to you. Right? So don't say that, I failed completely. I couldn't finish the task. No, you didn't finish the task. You could have.
Yeah, it's just that I need to realize how much the task, how I estimate the task, how distressful the task is going to be, and then how much I can push myself to not, look for the fun stuff instantly. And then the progress is what matters, right?
Again, you said that how much can I push? In fact, you can push to the maximum level, right? But how much do you choose to push is up to you.
How much do I choose to push?
It's not can. Can is definitely till 100, 10 maybe on the scale. So you can push yourself technically, yes. But how much do you choose to? You just have to push it slightly up and up and up and up. So what did you learn from today's discussion?
So I've learned that, I've never realized this before, but when I'm not having fun, my life is a waste. There's this kind of thoughts.
Okay.
I'm surprised by that. And then I learned about the technique that you taught me just now, the estimated scale, the project, where I can estimate the initial distress level. And then after I delay my task and all, I come back and see how distressful it actually is, and then experiment with it and see and draw a conclusion from that. And then next thing, the delay thing. So I should be mindful about when I am starting to feel the task is boring, and then remind myself, okay, I am just gonna push myself for 5 more seconds. Just do it for 5 more seconds. Just do it for 10 more seconds. Just do it for 20 more seconds, and eventually see how far I can go. So the success is
how far can I go, or how far do I go?
Yeah, how far I choose to go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, now how convinced are you really right now that your life is a waste if you don't have fun?
Oh, you mean how convinced am I that I have this thought?
You have this thought, but how convinced are you in the thought? Is your life really a waste if you don't have fun?
Now that I put it out like this, when I write it down, when I look at it, I don't think it's very convincing anymore. It's like too extreme, as I've said. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you said it. And therefore, I didn't work on it because you just realize, just awareness of that you're, depreciating your whole life based on not having fun.
Yeah.
And then it was shocking to you. And I think that's why I didn't work on it, right? Because now you just being aware has made you realize that it's not true, right? Okay, excellent. So, what was most helpful in today's session? Did I ask this question or no?
Haven't, but I think the most helpful part is how I can, put this in as a project where I can, look at my progress. There's a scale thing. There is this 5 seconds, 10 seconds thing, which I can really, I think, measure and all. Then I guess even a little bit of progress, I guess it's good.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we probably need to follow up on this, and then it's not so easy.
It's not easy.
There could be some other thoughts that are what we call as permission giving beliefs that allow you to postpone at the same time. But if you keep a follow-up, we'll be able to track your progress, and I'm sure that you will make progress in this specific problem. All right. So thank you, Yo,
thank you so
for
much.
volunteering, and I'm really happy that you presented with an extremely common problem, and I hope that a lot of people have been benefited by this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right. Okay, so the forum is open for questions now. Just a sec, I'll allow everyone to unmute yourselves. There you go. Okay, anyone wants to ask a question, please raise your hand so that I can answer these questions. I wanted a different type of problem to be discussed, but again, it's procrastination. Looks like a lot of people want me to discuss the same issue. Anyone has any questions? Thank you, Vijaya. Thanks for the kind words. Anyone can raise hands so that if they have a question, I'll be happy to answer. Did you understand what's your take home? Can someone summarize what's their take home? What did they learn in the whole session? What did they learn new in the session, I would say? Anyone would like to give an input? Saturday evening. Uma, go ahead. Yes, Uma, go ahead.
Yeah, hi.
Your voice is cracking.
From Surat, and yeah, so I heard yesterday's on YouTube today because I couldn't attend yesterday.
I think Vijaya, go ahead, please.
Thank you, sir. It was really an amazing session.
Vijaya, you are unmuted.
Yes, sir. Am I audible now?
Okay, anyone? I'll just check if someone has a question on YouTube. All right. Anyone watching YouTube has a question, please put it in the chat box so that I'll be able to answer. Satyajit, can you take my name? Of course, I did take your name. Hi, Satyajit. All right, so apparently we don't have sufficient questions today. If you still want to ask Uma or Vijaya, please go ahead.
Sir, am I audible now?
Right.
Hello.
Okay, tomorrow we're going to discuss not only one case, but I'm going to introduce you to rational emotive behavior therapy. And are you aware that rational emotive behavior therapy is the most original cognitive behavior therapy? And it is the grandfather of all cognitive behavior therapies, or CBTs. And we're going to discuss briefly about REBT tomorrow. Please join us tomorrow at 6 o'clock, not 7 o'clock like today. 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, there would be training, and 7 to 8, there would be a demonstration like today. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful Saturday evening. Take care.